chapter from Curiosity book of class 6th NCRT, where the chapter 11 is about nature's treasures. So already humans are able to enjoy the treasures from nature, that is the plants or the environment around them is being naturally made in such a way that human or other living organism has a kind of adaptable or favorable living environment. So during the school vacations, the Bhumi and Surya students are having fun. So during the vacation they are visiting to their grandmother's house. So they live on the village or on the edge of the forest on the western Ghats. So the air in the village is generally cooler than the city. The environment will be more fresher. Why? Because of the presence of more amount of trees. So they can see beautiful hills, streams, and many interesting plants and animals around them. So in our city we generally observe the kind of only very less domestic animals and very less trees or plants. The environment will be polluted because of many usage of transportation or vehicles, and also because of many buildings there is deforestation and polluted environment. Whereas if you observe in this kind of villages, it will be more clearer environment with a fresher air. So one afternoon, Bhumi and Surya asked to their grandmother, to tell them more about this place. So she explained that, do you know that this place has several treasures of nature that enrich our lives? The pure air, one of the most blessing. The second one is this fertile soil, which is enabling the growth of variety of living beings. Moreover, this place gets plenty of sunlight, even that is the natural important source, which is useful in many ways. So, different varieties of trees provide food and shelter to animals, including various birds and insects. So, there are more such treasures of nature, just like our water stream, right? Then, what else? Survival needs to make it more comfortable. The treasures which we get from the earth, that is, we all are a part of nature. So, if you observe that the first treasure is said to be air. So, getting good fresh air helps us keep our lungs stay healthy. So our breathing passage requires oxygen. Fine. So here there is a small experiment given that you can experience, that is the breathing exercise and yoga. This can prevent yourself from getting various diseases and asthma like problems. So you can follow and practice this. So we can survive without food or water for a few days, but we cannot survive without oxygen for even a few minutes. Why? Because oxygen is that much amount important part. So the air which surrounds the earth is a mixture of gases, out of which nitrogen will be 78% and oxygen is just 21%. So to increase the amount of oxygen in the air and to make the air purify, we need to plant more trees. As you already know, in the photosynthesis process the oxygen is being released as a byproduct. So that oxygen which is being released by the plants can be used for our survival needs, for the respiration process. So plants are not only providing us with food and shelter, but also it is purifying the air and making the air rich in oxygen. Fine. So the composition of oxygen in the air can be increased with the help of planting of fresh trees. Here is one of an experiment given to make yourself a kind of windmill so that it will be an interesting craft work. So learning by doing, you can understand the concept of making a windmill and enjoy your time. So this is with the help of that air or the wind how we produce electricity. So the wind energy is being converted to the electrical energy with the flow of electrons. So how it is being used in the various parts of the world. So next, second treasure if we are going to discuss here is the water. Without water we cannot survive. We need water for growing plants, we need water for drinking, water for cooking, washing clothes. So as we discussed, there another chapter, that is journey of water. Water is the universal solvent, we require it in adequate amount, and also it is there present in earth. It is getting from the various sources. Due to human activities we are contaminating the water resources, which is not encourageable. So we need many water for many daily activities. It is one of the nature's treasure which we have to preserve. So you can observe here there is a column given that how much amount of water is being wasted and how we can suggest some methods in order to save it. Say for example, while hand washing, if you are opening the tap, and for that suggestion method is that you can use a mug instead, so you will know the measurement how much amount of water you are using. Similarly for brushing teeth, washing clothes, utensil, only while used. To open the tap only while in use. Otherwise, if you keep it in closed, you can conserve that amount of water. So save water, secure future. So the next category is about the rainwater harvesting. That is most important topic which we discussed in the journey of water itself. It is a water conservation method, and it's to save or preserve the potable water. So when the water is coming in the form of rainwater from the clouds, the process which is happening to balance the water level in earth is of four steps. The water from the ground level will go to the atmosphere in the form of transpiration and evaporation. So the change of liquid state to gaseous state occurs, and it will move to the atmosphere. And from the atmosphere, the clouds will condense this water droplets. That is the process of gaseous states to liquid state conversion takes place. Condensation and rain falling, that is precipitation. So the condensation and precipitation is the falling down of water, that is from the gaseous to the liquid is being converted. So at one side the water from the ground level is moving to the atmosphere, and on the same time it is being coming down. So this is a cyclic process where the starting point and the ending point is same. So this cycle is said to be water cycle, where the water amount is being balanced. So in this balance, if you want, during summer time there will not be any kind of rainwater or something. So to avoid or to prevent that water scarcity period, you people can use this or save this method called as rainwater harvesting to preserve the rainwater, to store it in utensil. And it has been constructed in the above building. That is, this construction method is helpful for storing of the purest form of water. Next concept is that World Water Day is observed on 22nd March every year. So in order to understand the importance of the water in day-to-day lives, this day has been celebrated. Then if we see the solar energy, that is the third treasure, the most important source. So the source of energy for all living organism is said to be from the sun. For drying of clothes, for the plants to make their own food, that is the photosynthesis process, so that only the producer are able to. So we use heat light from the sun for various purposes, even for generating electricity, usage of solar cookers. So look at this cow, it's been grazing the grass, getting energy from it. Now I think the cow is getting energy from the sun. How? Indirectly. Indirectly in the sense it is getting the energy from the plants, and the plants would have prepared its food with the help of the raw material sun. So indirectly the cow is also getting the energy from its sun. Also we need sun energy for vitamin D, for making of the calciferol, that is to prevent the diseases like rickets. Also if you observe, there is solar panel water heaters where the solar energy or the light energy is being converted to the electrical energy. Next is forest. So the grandmother is taking those two children to the forest, where they are observing the beautiful herbs, shrubs, trees, the flora and the fauna. They are able to pick up the fruits, and they are giving to the animals, and they are enjoying the forest. So forest is said to be the natural home for many wild animals. Here you can see the multi-diverse of animals, mainly human activities for cutting and usage of trees. This kind of cutting the trees in large amount is happening, hence forest areas are being destroyed. So for that, in an ancient time there had an Indian tradition of respecting, protecting and preserving forests. So we have already learned about this chipko movement, where women from a local women from the Uttarakhand participated in this movement. They encircled a huge tree and hugged it to protect them being felled. So they told that the tree is sacred for them, that much sacred for them, that they will protect them at any cost. So the trees were not allowed to cut. If you want to cut, you can cut it along with us. So they were ready to give their life for the trees. So trees were considered that much sacred and important part of their life. Amrita Devi Bishnoi was the head of that movement. Next category or the next important treasure is the soil, rocks and minerals. We get various minerals, right? We extract various minerals from the soil. So soil is the most important supportive part for growth of any living organism. So all living organisms, like starting from the microbes to the enormous gigantic living organism, they depend upon soil in some or the other way for growth of plants and for provision of nutrients. The earthworms, the natural agent, the microbes, starting from the so small living organism, we are dependent upon soil since ages. So you can observe here the types of soil, the types of rocks and bricks are used, and the types of minerals occurring from naturally in the soil, rocks, minerals. Those are naturally occurring gold. After processing with various procedures, we will be using these minerals. Then comes fossil fuels. So these are those which we utilize for running of our vehicle. So fossil fuels are nothing but the dead and decayed remains of the plants or animals will get fossiled over years under the bedrock. This becomes fuels and can be used for, and this is a kind of non-renewable resources, or it's an exhaustible resources. Once it has been utilized in large amount or over exploited, it will be exhausted completely. Whereas your sun and other resources like air which we discussed, those are renewable, those are non-exhaustible, those will be existing in the world. So here the natural resources can be divided into two, that is renewable and non-renewable. So human made resources and natural resources, two types. So those resources which we use for making dirt, clay toys we use clay, then collecting firewood we use trees, making kites, or what kind of material do you use, you can mention there. So here comes the summary of the chapter, that is resources required for our survival are provided by the nature. So we are completely dependent upon the nature and its products for survival process. So resources provided by nature are called natural resources. Some of them important are the sun, forest, soil, rock, mineral, water, air, energy. And then resources created by human beings to meet their needs, just like something which we create artificially or synthetically are called as human made resources, but still we are dependent upon making those with the help of raw materials from natural resources. So this natural resources, it can be classified into major two, that is renewable and non-renewable. Then resources that get renewed or replenished or restored by natural process, renewable, that is like our sunlight and air, this can be available all time, but there are limited quantities, that are those are called as non-renewable, which cannot be prepared again and again by the natural processes. Once it is exhausted, we cannot make it back like our fossil fuels. So we should use it method, we should conserve it for the future generation. Then all living beings including humans depend on natural resources for their survival, so we should use them judiciously, otherwise we need to suffer the process of, or the suffer the result of over exploitation. Our future generation will be suffering the result of this kind of scarcity.